TIFU by chugging 24 ounces of water right before donating plasma. I want to preface by saying I saw a post on here last night and thought to myself, I wonder when I'll have something to post on here. For the love of God, never be as foolish as I was. This happened a couple hours ago. I'm a healthy 25-year-old guy currently in professional school. I've recently discovered the gem of donating plasma for some extra spending money. It helps me feel a little better considering my loans are astronomical. Anyway, I set my appointment for 9 a.m. today. I slept in until roughly 8:20 a.m. to give myself just enough time to get ready and then drive 20 minutes to the donation center. Since my last drink of water was the night before, I made sure to chug the remainder of my water bottle to help my donation go faster. That was roughly 24 ounces. For those who are unfamiliar, the process of donating plasma takes around an hour and drinking water speeds up the process. Being hydrated, judgner's juicy blood, yasna less time to reach the goal volume. Importantly, once they put the needle in your arm, you're pretty much stuck there until the donation ends. For my very first donation, I didn't pee before I got the needle in, and I ended up fighting for my life. It only takes one near-piss experience to remind you to pee beforehand in the future. Today was no different. I peed right before I sat down to start the donation. She hooked me up, and I started watching the next episode of The Mandalorian. All was well. Until about 30 to 35 minutes later, I suddenly realized I would be having a repeat of the first time. I guess the 24 ounces had started to reach my bladder. I must have only peed out what I had from last night. I tried my darndest to focus on the show and wiggle my feet to distract myself. The show ended and I was left to consider the gravity of my situation. I was around 2/3 through donating, so probably another 20 minutes. I had already been clenching my teeth for 15. I was struggling so bad I just sat there in silence and prayed I would have the bladder of a warrior today. Now you ladies might not have ever considered that guys have a secret pee-proof technique. Simply grab your penis and you can manually keep urine from leaking. The trade-off is that the pressure builds up in your urethra rather than your bladder and is very painful. This is the last of last resorts. Once you do it, you're guaranteeing that there will be some leakage once you finally release your grip, and extreme pain until then. I knew I couldn't endure that pain for the rest of my donation, so I didn't do it. Desperation overcame me, and I mustered the courage to ask my phlebotomist if I could pause the donation to go to the bathroom. She was very nice and said, "Sure, we will just have to replace the fluids we've taken, and then you can go." Lovely. I have a closer endpoint, though unfortunately it's still several minutes away. While I'm waiting, I have more time to think and discover that at some point my urethral sphincter couldn't contain the floodwaters and I had pissed myself. It wasn't enough to get the seat wet and happened gradually enough to where my clothing just soaked it up, creating a large wet spot. I imagine it looked similar to Adam Sandler and Billy Madison, Forsyth reference. However, I am so grateful that I decided to wear athletic shorts today instead of jeans. If I wore jeans, everyone would be able to tell I'm a big piss baby even out of the corner of their eye. While we were waiting for the donation to finish, she asked me if I was going to make it. I can only imagine how pitiful I looked to her, wide-eyed and wiggling in desperation. I thought for a moment and said, "I don't know." I mean, legitimately, what do I say? Yeah, I think I'll make it because I already pissed? No, I already didn't make it? Who knows? With the speed of a seasoned street vendor, she pulled out the needle, wrapped my arm, and told me I was good to go. I discreetly dashed to the bathroom, and lo and behold, I didn't have to pee that badly. Through the mirror, the spot was only mildly visible, so maybe I escaped unnoticed. I went back to my station, and the phlebotomist told me, "I'm done," even though we stopped the donation early. I'm grateful for that. But I wish I had realized that before I made one final sweep through the building with my pee-pee pants. To make matters worse, our washing machine shit the bed last week. Thankfully, my neighbor was a saint and happily agreed to let me use hers. I'm already laughing and cringing at the memory of today. It's a funny story to tell, and I guess I can relate to my future kids by telling them I wasn't potty trained until I was 25 years old. TLDR. I drank a bunch of water before donating plasma, and despite peeing right before it started, I pissed on myself and had to stop donating early. My washing machine is also broken, so I'm having to use my neighbor's. IFU by getting high too early. So I just did one of the hardest and perhaps dumbest things ever. I took a hit off my weed pen at about 7:15 p.m., thinking I was in the clear, and there would be no further duties to perform for my wife or daughter. 10 minutes later, my wife asks me to go to CVS to get 2 gift bags, a birthday card, some Flonase, and her photo order. So I'm left with a choice: tell my wife I'm a wee bit high and I can't go or drive the 2 blocks to CVS and back whilst a bit stoned. So I get to CVS and I'm doing okay. I am starting to feel it, but I'm still on top of it. Just gotta be quick. I get in there, get the Flonase, doing good, then I get to the birthday cards. It was only like 3 shelves worth of cards to choose from. I was there for half an hour. Then I had to interact with the clerk to get the photos, and I had a brief panic attack that I would forget my name. I didn't, but I was scared I would. I get everything. Out the door, on my way back, I heard a commercial for Babbel.com and said "Como te llamas" really loudly out my open car window, which startled a group of people on the sidewalk. Overall, I'd give me a 8 out of 10, and that was the last hour of my life. TLDR. Ran an errand whilst high instead of admitting I was impaired. Scared some random normies. TIFU by going to a concert. I recently went to a JID concert. I was smack bang in the middle of the mosh. I'm a big guy, 6'2", and I'm heavy, so all that jumping and moving makes me thirsty. The event managers provide water in bottles at the front of the crowd, with everyone passing back to people in need. It's courtesy to waterfall the water, at least that's what I thought. Obviously, being center of the mosh, there's going to be a fair amount of mouths on the bottle before I get some. And I drank a few. I've now been sick as a dog for 2 weeks. Throat infection, extreme coughing, and abnormally thick mucus production, headaches, fever, ear infection leading to the inability to hear out of my right ear, and the likes. I must have drank from one to many festy bottles. Safe to say, I won't be in another pit for a while. It's been a horrid experience. I hate it. Only benefit is fighting through it and seeing the artists nice and close. End of the day, my fault. TLDR. Went to a concert, was in the center of the mosh pit, drank from several water bottles that had been passed around several times, got severely sick, heavy regrets. Edit. I've been reading these comments and I don't think you guys understand. If you don't have a drink from the bottle at this venue, you simply miss out and another person drinks instead. I've only been to 2 concerts where I've been in the mosh, the first being Denzel Curry and the second being Jiddy, and both occasions, the same went. Staff up the front would hand out the water and people would waterfall it and pass it back. Obviously, some individuals don't get the memo, but it's hard to be cautious when you've been getting rocked and fighting to stay upright for 15 minutes and need a drink, right? TIFU by causing a scene at work because someone ate half of my lunch. This happened a few days ago, but I'm still feeling the after effects. At work, there is a lunch thief. Our boss has not done a single thing about it, despite the many complaints from multiple employees. So far, no one has any idea who the thief might be. People label their food and hope for the best. We have been warned about how using certain methods to try catch said thief could potentially get us into legal trouble, so it's hard to catch them. I, like many others, have had my food stolen a couple of times. It's annoying, but I would grit my teeth and get on with it. Earlier this week, I packed myself a grilled cheese sandwich and a cupcake. I put a sticky note saying, "Property of different mango, please don't touch." I was already looking forward to my lunch while laying in bed the night before. It sounds juvenile, but if you have ever had to hide from everyone or pretend to not be hungry during lunch, you probably know the good feeling you get when you get to be like everybody else. My lunch break came and I went to get my food in the fridge, only to find half my sandwich and the cupcake wrapper. It was the last straw that broke the camel's back. I just started bawling in front of everyone. They just gave me weird looks as I excused myself to the restroom. Now the other employees laugh about how dramatic and emotional I was over something so trivial. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. TLDR. I caused a scene at work after someone ate my food. Please like and subscribe for more daily content.